Hi everyone, it's Sonia here. So I wanted to go over a little bit the issue of Canada's vaccine travel mandates and why they have been kept in place for so long, even though they're now suspended, but it's temporary. They'll probably be brought back. So why does Canada have these mandates for domestic travel and just even to leave the country when it's now known that these vaccines don't prevent infection and transmission?
Damage, you know, the deaths, it's been completely horrific. And I would expect that will lead the R&D budgets to be focused on things we didn't have today. We didn't have vaccines that block transmission. We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce the transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccine.
Getting global standards established as to what qualifies as protection, I think, would be useful. So there's probably work to be done in this space.
Yeah, it'd be more valuable if you had an infection-blocking vaccine. I mean, the idea of checking if people are vaccinated, if you have breakthrough infections, what's the point?
So what's really behind this? Well, that's why I want to talk about Known Traveler Digital Identity, this program that's been created by the World Economic Forum and is being piloted by Canada and the Netherlands. If you like the video, thanks for hitting like. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for your support on Patreon. The Patreon, it's a place where for $1 or more, whatever you want to give, per month, you get access to my private Patreon blog, where for one thing, you'll always get notified if I upload or if I do a live chat. So if YouTube doesn't notify you, well, I will. And you get extra info on there, links to extra stuff, sometimes articles that I write just for Patreon. And you can also message me on there. So I'll leave you the link below. And also, BioTrust is having their special again of up to 51% off Keto Elevate MCT oil powder. Keto Elevate contains 5 grams of pure caprylic acid, the most readily ketogenic MCT. You simply put a scoop of this delicious powder into your coffee, smoothie, or yogurt for increased physical energy, decreased appetite, improved mental clarity and focus, improved physical performance and recovery, and more. So if you're interested, please check out the link for more info and a discount. So I just want to recap this a little bit. So this was announced June 13th, Canada to end COVID-19 vaccine mandate for domestic travel. Well, for domestic and outbound international travelers. And like I said, it's not really ending, it's just suspended. It was ironic that this was coming at a time when Trudeau himself was isolating after testing positive for COVID-19 again. He just had it on the 31st of January, and there we were, 13th of June, 5 months later, he's got it again. And as far as I know, he's had his both shots and his boosters, at least one booster. Must have been kind of embarrassing for Trudeau to be hanging on to this while repeatedly testing positive. But anyway, there had been a lot of chaos in the airports, a lot of outcry about it. This former NHL player for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Ryan Whitney, spoke of his chaotic night. He described Canadian airports as the biggest disgrace known to man. Everyone was annoyed with these mandates. Travel industry calls for removal of vaccine mandate and other COVID restrictions. Yeah, the travel industry was actually really not behind this. WestJet CEO urges feds to drop COVID-19 vaccine mandate for travelers, as vaccines are not preventing the spread of the virus since Omicron. There is no more logic to maintain it. This will also relax some of the operational challenges at the airports. The International Air Transport Association had also been bugging the Canadian government to do something about reducing the delays at the airports. Pretty much everyone was absolutely fed up with what was going on at the airports. And the Conservative Party had tried to get a motion passed in the House to end the mandates. Melissa Lantsman from Thornhill had put forth this motion, but it was defeated. Of course, because we don't really have democracy here anymore. We have the Liberals and we have the NDP, which are just an extension of the Liberals. Thanks to the confidence and supply agreement, they pretty much agreed to just support whatever the Liberals do. So however the Liberals want them to vote, the NDP will vote that way. So all it takes is those two parties to both vote against a Conservative motion, and the motion doesn't even stand a chance. Of note, the federal court will hear a challenge to Canada's COVID-19 vaccine requirement for travel. That will be this fall. Constitutional lawyers are set to argue against the federal government's mandatory COVID-19 vaccine requirements for all air travelers. So this will be September 19th to 23rd at the Federal Court of Canada, which resolves problems arising from applications of federal laws. And from what I hear, this is still going to go forward because, like I said, this mandate is not actually eliminated. It's just suspended. And you can pretty much bet it'll be back in the fall, plus more. And this will be going to court. And so not only did the federal government, well, the Liberals and the NDP, shoot down the Conservative motion to end the vaccine mandate, but right after that, this kind of stuff was going around, like making the rounds in the media. It's high time that authorities revise the definition of fully vaccinated, say the experts. So it was like they just would not back down, and they actually even wanted to go further and make fully vaccinated be 3 shots. So what happened? All of a sudden, the Liberals decided to end the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Well, not the Liberals, actually, just Trudeau, I think. Because this was all done through orders in council. They didn't vote on it in the House. The mandate originally was an order in council. And so I guess that just these high-up overlords decided to suspend it. And it even seemed like it just had to be on Trudeau's terms. He couldn't lose face. He couldn't have the Conservatives put a motion through and then allow that motion to actually pass. He couldn't allow the airline industry or the public tell him what to do. He had to just say no and just keep bringing down the hammer and then just do this when he felt like it. It has to always be on his terms, which I find is very strange because he's supposed to be a public servant. He's a democratically elected leader, supposedly. But he does things on his terms. So after all that fighting to keep it, suddenly suspends it. It doesn't apply to foreign nationals. They still have to have the shots to come in. So the unvaccinated travelers have to get tested before they can get on the plane to come back home. And then they get a test on arrival. Then they have to quarantine, and they have to take another test on day 8. And of course, the masks are still in place. And of course, the ArriveCan app is not going anywhere. So let's get down to this known traveler digital identity, kind of the root of all this, in my opinion. Unlocking the potential of digital identity for secure and seamless travel. They have a video here. I'm not going to show it to you, but you can go check it out. So this is basically the pilot program for digital ID for travel. From your favorite folks at the World Economic Forum. It's kind of funny how this semicircle passes through the 3 O's, because it kind of looks like 6, 6, 6. Not to make you paranoid, but I just happened to notice that. I wonder if they did it on purpose, or was that just one hell of a coincidence? I don't think there's any coincidences when it comes to planning logos for the World Economic Forum. But anyway, so the Antichrist has partnered with the government of Canada and the government of the Netherlands and our airport right here in Montreal, Yule, and the Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, and Toronto Pearson Airport, and Royal Dutch Airlines and Air Canada, and these other 3 things that I don't know what they are. And so it's all these fine folks who've partnered to pilot digital ID for travel. I want to point out one little thing here. This was Canadian Budget 2021. If you go down to page 13, historically, pandemics don't last forever. They have a few waves and then they peter out. This is what happened with the 1918 flu. This is what happened with the Russian flu. This is just what happens. So you'd think that by late into 2021, that would be about 2 years into COVID, that they would be winding things down. But no, they say here in their report, the government proposes to provide $37.4 million over 3 years, starting in 2021 to 2022, to Transport Canada to support the implementation and oversight of this vaccine mandate for federally regulated air, rail, and marine employees and passengers. So obviously, if they were going to invest that much money and go to the lengths to do all this, it's not because they're going to stop it anytime soon, which is weird because usually, like I said, pandemics tend to peter out. So let's go back to this known traveler digital identity. So this is a white paper from the World Economic Forum, accelerating the transition to digital credentials for travel. Listen up, because this is where we get into the meat. Lessons from KTDI, a public-private collaborative for secure and seamless travel. So you can download a PDF, which I'm going to show you what's in it. Initially started in 2018, so it's not like it's new. Kind of weird, eh? How it just started like 2 years before the pandemic. How convenient. The Known Traveler Digital Identity Initiative has worked with the governments of Canada and the Netherlands, plus private sector partners, to pilot digital travel credentials for paperless travel between two countries. Lessons from this pilot are particularly relevant today as COVID-19 has underscored the need for verifiable digital credentials in cross-border travel. Why? Why would COVID-19 underscore the need for verifiable digital credentials? Well, that's what you're going to see in the paper. As a result of the pandemic, airlines and border officials now have to manually verify additional documentation that is often paper-based, easy to lose, and not difficult to fake. They're talking about, obviously, vaccine passports. Interesting that this program, which was started in 2018, which is all about digital identity for traveling, how conveniently the pandemic speeds up the need for this because of the need for vaccine passports. I mean, if it wasn't for those vaccine passports, this wouldn't have this kind of a push to it right now. So the digital credentials are your vaccination credentials. This causes longer queues at airports, making travel increasingly confusing for travelers and all stakeholders involved. This is exactly what we've been dealing with. The vaccine mandates, we're just gumming up all the travel industry. Everybody having bad experiences at the airport. It's because of that. For instance, airport processing times have doubled, reaching 3 hours during peak times, despite travel volumes hovering around 30% of pre-COVID-19 rates. Imagine, with 30% of the travelers, processing times have doubled, reaching 3 hours. In addition, travelers want to have certainty that their documents will be accepted before they leave home, that they won't have to spend much time at the border, and they will be able to board their flight. It's just their vaccination documents, because the passport works just fine. We've been using it this whole time. Usually it's not a problem. I mean, passport, maybe your visa, depending. Digital credentials and touchless borders are needed more than ever to restore confidence in travel, enable efficient traveler processing, and prepare for the industry recovery. So it's really a case of problem, reaction, solution. Problem is these vaccine passports are gumming everything up. The reaction is a total outrage, and the solution is, well, we really need this digital ID. Just so happens they started this program in 2018. Secure and seamless travel. Boy, has this issue of vaccine passports given this a huge amount of momentum. Travelers who now need a number of different documents to travel, your tests, your vaccines, vaccine proof of vaccines, Also expect and support digital innovation to enable a seamless travel experience. Yes, they actually want it now. They want the digital documents. But the bottom line of this, the digital document, the reason they want it is because you can't fake it. Because those other paper documents can be faked. But this can't. I mean, not the way they have it planned with blockchain and third-party verification. So the problem is that they don't really know if your test or your vaccine documents are real. So this is all about the vaccine documents. They want to have an airtight system to make sure they know who is vaccinated and who isn't. And no faking. And that's what this is all about. And because it's been so miserable, now people expect and support digital innovation. Yeah, they really want it now. I'm not so sure that everybody really wants this, but that's what the World Economic Forum would like you to believe. I'm sure they want it. A March 2021 International Air Transport Association poll showed that 89% of travelers support globally standardized digital certifications. Well, that was in March 2021. I wonder how they feel about it now. However, the proliferation of various digital solutions for travel in the past years has actually made cross-border movement even more confusing and cumbersome, especially as many countries and industry players have developed their solutions in silos. So it's true, like not all countries have the same system whatsoever. So they want this to be homogenous all across the world for all travel. The ecosystem remains deeply fragmented and lacks common standards, which only a world government could provide. 666. And the market often favors speed to market over functionality, consistency, safety, and fraud prevention. Well, it looks like they have their work cut out for them. This can lead to digital passes and certificates falling short of user expectations and becoming a hotly debated political topic, with many countries facing an intense public backlash. Well, good luck to you, World Economic Forum, getting the entire world to be able to have the infrastructure for this and to implement it and for it to be absolutely solid and also not fake. Good luck, but that is what they're trying to do. We just happen to be in the pilot program. So I think it's going to be very hard to get rid of these mandates long term in Canada, or the ArriveCAN app, which a lot of people don't like, because apparently when you use it in the user agreement, you're agreeing to be tracked for 2 years and for your data to be shared with other countries. And speaking of ArriveCAN, wow, check this out. Border Union claims government stats about ArriveCAN app are absolutely false. So they say that our government here claims that 99% of air travelers and 94% of land travelers have the app completed when they arrive at the border. So apparently this is absolutely false. They say later in the article that it's more like 75%, and that a lot of people require the assistance of the cross-border officers to fill out the app. And so what that actually does is, while they're busy helping people fill out this app, it takes them away from their duties to secure the border. So they're saying that it actually makes the border less secure. ArriveCAN neither facilitates cross-border travel nor does it improve operational efficiency. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. Our officers now largely work as IT consultants. You have land borders that have essentially become parking lots for us to help people complete the app. So it looks like that could stay long term. Trudeau is going to do everything he can to keep it in place. And he's already assured that he himself is going to be in place until 2025. Unless the NDP suddenly turn against them, which I doubt, because Jagmeet Singh is also a disciple of Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum. He and Trudeau both graduated from the Young Global Leaders Program. Chrystia Freeland as well. So we got a whole bunch of World Economic Forum people in our government. They all have each other's backs, and they're committed to this vision that Klaus Schwab has for our future, which includes digital identity documents for travel, especially for your vaccination record. So there you have it. That's what this is really about, as far as I can tell. That's why they're going to find any way to keep it in place. So that's it. I hope that you found this information useful and not too discouraging. Let me know what you think. Thanks again for liking the video. Thanks for your support on Patreon. It keeps my channel going. Thank you for checking out the link below for more info and a discount if you're interested. And oh, thank you so much for joining me in the chat. I love to see you guys there. I love you. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.